morning. I am the ex-CEO of the Sovereign Fund of Egypt's Infrastructure and Utilities Sub-Fund. I've spent there 3.5 years, and then before that, I've spent around 20 years doing infrastructure investments, starting with a boutique investment bank in Egypt and some debt capital markets in Barclays Capital. Followed by that, I did 10 years of project financing and development at one of Egypt's private equity boutiques, specialized in infrastructure investments in Africa. At that time, in 2011, we did the development and execution of Africa's largest petrochemicals deals at the time. It was a second stage refinery in Egypt to substitute imports that the Egyptian government used to import in the oil and gas industry. Followed by that, I did my MBA at Columbia Business Schools, and then I moved to Dubai. I've spent 4 years with GE doing project development and finance for their gas power business in the Middle East and South Asia. And then finally, I was at the Sovereign Fund of Egypt. My mandate really was to look at how to scale and develop infrastructure investments in Egypt. I think a lot of what I've done was to develop projects that required financing, especially green financing. This is particularly of interest because today, when we speak about infrastructure, everyone is looking at green infrastructure. How can we mitigate or adapt to the challenges of the climate change, to the challenges of reaching decarbonization and becoming carbon neutral. And I think at the Sovereign Fund of Egypt, the two main elements that took a lot of my time were green desalination, whereby I helped launch Egypt's desalination program, basically 8.8 million cubic meters to be developed over the next 20 years. And this was a huge step for Egypt, as we historically dependent on the Nile water. And then the second project was launching Egypt Green Hydrogen Program. I think that's a milestone and an event that I'm extremely proud of. We started with signing 22 MOUs with different developers across the world. And then we closed that with 9 framework agreements being executed at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. So a lot has been done on the green side, and I'm happy to continue that journey. So, of course, I'm super excited about green hydrogen. As I said, I spent a good part of my last few years at the Sovereign Fund of Egypt primarily focused on green hydrogen, and I believe that hydrogen is, and not just hydrogen, but hydrogen and the fuels that are downstreamed from it are the new oil. I believe this is the future. I believe that the world will move to this permanent, sustainable, clean source of fuel that will power Earth for the future and the future generations to come. In my view, the theme of Power to X, whereby we're using renewables to really channel many downstream industries out of it is huge. If you look at what was the challenge with renewables in the past, it was primarily that you cannot export renewables. There were a local element. People and countries who had good renewables resources were able to benefit only on the local basis. But with hydrogen, with green fuels that downstream out of it, you can now export green electrons to the world in that form. And I think that's why this whole revolution has started. Hydrogen can be used in many applications, such as aviation fuel, such as long-haul transportation fuel, such as power generation to substitute natural gas, such as well many applications, not just in the fertilizers industry, but you can out of it reach green steel, decarbonizing the steel industry. You can reach green aluminum and green cement, all of these historically pollutant elements and industries are now really decarbonizing. So it's huge. I believe the world is yet to see what's going to happen. We're just at very early stages of green hydrogen, but I have no doubt in my mind that it will take over the green economy in the future, 100%. Well, I think a lot of the African countries are doing a fantastic job when it comes to the potential of green fuels and green economies. I believe the whole continent have the right elements to benefit from that, and I think this could really be a game changer for Africa. But if I pinpoint some of the countries, of course, countries like Morocco, Mauritania, Namibia, South Africa, Egypt, and to a certain extent others like Djibouti and other countries, these have been really the hotspots when it comes to green hydrogen, the green economy. To combine just these 5-6 countries can produce something close to 50 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030. I think that's huge. And if you export, 2/3, half of that, and benefit locally in Africa from the remaining portions, you're just transforming your whole economy when it comes to export, but also when it comes to import substitutions of hydrocarbons. So I look forward to other countries joining this ride and really taking the whole African continent forward. Well, I think I'm excited, and what keeps me excited about this industry is really the fact that we're still scratching the surface. I think the world is yet trying to mitigate, technology risks when it comes to green hydrogen and its downstream green fuels. We're still scratching the surface when it comes, as I mentioned, to technology and technology risks and how to really do this in an efficient, cost-effective way. Secondly, we're still also very early stages when it comes to the market. We do not have a market for green fuels. People are still wondering at what much price they will sell their fuels and their products. But if that market develops, if that technology risk reduces, and we really bridge the gap between hydrocarbons and green fuels, when it comes to pricing, of course, you will see a whole transformation. Today, a lot of the industries and the companies in the world say that they want to reach zero carbon emissions, or they want to be carbon neutral, or they want to decarbonize. All of these targets will never be achieved unless we reach the right formula when it comes to cost. It's what is being announced is one thing, and what's being decided in board meetings is another thing. And unless we can produce a green fuel that is competitive to gray fuels, I don't think we'll be able to reach that. So a lot is yet to be done. Things are going to move, maybe not as quickly as some people hoped, but there will be a lot of progress. And I'm just happy to be in the midst of all of that. And what we're going to see over the next, I think, 20 years is going to be transformational globally. Well, first of all, I'm very proud to be chosen as an advisory board member for the next Africa's Green Economy Summit in 2024 in Cape Town. It's a fantastic team that I'm working with, and my message during that summit, and specifically in the green hydrogen session, will be really how to bring the different elements, whether regulatory, whether corporate, whether manufacturers, suppliers, and all the stakeholders, the financiers, the DFIs, and everyone, how to really together make this industry a reality as soon as possible. I think everybody has a role to play, and we're all as quick as the slowest player in those stakeholders. So let's all have a target, and let's all try to achieve this target by really making sure that by 2030, which is 7 years from today, and during the conference it will be 6 years from today, we have what we targeted to be the production of green fuels in the world. I think the continent will play a huge role to supply that to Europe. In my view, we might not hit the 50 million tons target, but definitely we should be around the 30 million tons target. So my message is, let's all work together to at least produce 30 million tons of hydrogen from Africa by 2030 at a competitive price that is acceptable and sellable in Europe. Look, it's a fantastic event, and I think it's important because it brings all the stakeholders in one room, and I think this is the key for such events. You really are making sure that people are having the right conversations, that people are meeting the right counterparts in order to make projects, ideas a reality. I think this conference specifically is close to my heart because it's not your typical conference. It's not people sitting in sessions saying the same words over and over again. I think the organizers realized the importance of networking, so they've dedicated between session one full hour between sessions for coffee breaks, where people can really network and make use of the people around the room, the people that are attending the conference. The quality of the people, speakers, delegates and so forth is also very impressive. So I think this is an important event for the continent that will shape many of the projects that are going to develop over the next few years. So very looking forward to meeting you all in Cape Town in February of 2024. I think at the end, I'd just like to conclude that we're all lucky to be witnessing this revolution when it comes to the green economy. I think we've seen the industrial revolution, we've seen the technological revolution, and now we're seeing the climate revolution. What the world is going to do over the next few years is going to shape how the economy of the world is going to differ and become for the future. So it's an exciting ride. Let's all enjoy it. Thank you.